The last thing Commander Yolan Thorne remembered was fire. Explosions ripping through the hull of his stealth cruiser, the stench of burning metal, the screams of his crew cut short. Then silence. Cold, weightless silence, until warmth touched his lips. He woke with a shudder knot in wreckage, not in a vacuum but in a chamber filled with soft blue light and the slow, melodic pulse of alien machines. His lungs seized as foreign air filled them, but it was breathable, even soothing. His body should have been broken, yet here he was alive. Hovering above him was a figure too surreal to be from any memory. A tall woman with glowing silver skin, webbed fingers tipped in pale pink light, and large eyes the color of starlit oceans. Her lips parted, and a gentle hum escaped. No language, just resonance. Her presence didn't just calm him, it healed something inside. She pressed 2 fingers to his temple. The warmth deepened. His pain dulled to a whisper. "I am Varan," she said in perfect English, though her lips barely moved. "You were ... scattered, but I reassembled you, reassembled." He rasped. Her smile was both proud and intimate, piece by piece. "Your injuries were extensive. You were gone, human, and yet your essence clung to the remnants. You refused to die." He blinked. "How long?" "6 of your solar cycles. In stasis, your species does not regenerate. But I am not bound by those limits." Her hand brushed his chest, and he felt it not just touch, but something deeper, a transfer. She was feeding him energy, nourishment, yet more sensual than sustenance. It pulsed beneath his skin and lingered in his spine. "You saved me," he murmured. "I claimed you," she corrected, leaning closer. "We do not rescue without reason. We bond." His heart beat faster. Her breath was sweet and warm. He realized he was clothed in something soft but translucent, and her fingers didn't hesitate to explore the healing ridges of his rib cage. "Why me? You tasted of sorrow and fire, but something more." She brushed her lips near his ear. "A resonance my kind cannot ignore. I was a healer before I was anything else, but with you I feel like more." The gravity of the moment struck him. He wasn't on a rescue ship. This was no allied medbay. He was in the hands of something alien, deeply intimate. She slid beside him on the reclined platform, her form pressing into his. Jalen's instincts flared, not in fear but awareness. His blood quickened as her warmth surrounded him. "This is what your kind calls intimacy, yes," she whispered, nuzzling his jaw with her cheekbone. "I've studied your people, but never tasted one." Jalen's throat tightened. "You're not just healing me." "No," she said. "This is a power reversal romance, is it not?" She smiled knowingly. "In your tales, the soldier saves the nurse, but here, the nurse saves the soldier. And now, I choose you." He should have pulled away. He didn't. Her lips found his soft and electric, not just a kiss, but transmission. Heat flowed into him, lighting nerves long thought severed. Memories flickered his home, his regrets, the war, and then her kiss drowned them all in bliss. His hand slid around her waist of its own will. She was firm, supple, not fragile. Alien, yes, but familiar in the way only instinct could explain. "I feel you," she gasped into his mouth. Every heartbeat. His voice shook. "I shouldn't want this, but I do." Her eyes flickered with joy. "Then stay. Let me show you the meaning of a true intergalactic love story. No war, no orders, just you and me." Her body folded over his, and for the first time in years, Yalan surrendered not to command, not to duty, but to something deeply human, something only she had reawakened. He was hers, but even deeper. She was becoming his dot, and neither of them understood the storm that bond would unleash. Yalan didn't sleep that night, if night even existed on this alien vessel. Time dissolved as he lay wrapped in Varenya's glowing arms, her silken skin humming against his own. Each pulse from her body sang to his bones. He wasn't just resting, he was repairing. Her touch didn't merely soothe, it rewrote the damage. She moved like starlight, fluid and deliberate, her body an intricate fusion of elegance and strength. And when she touched him, it was as if her essence recognized something broken in his soul. Land filled it. You humans burn so quickly, she whispered as she traced a glowing line down his chest. But beneath your fragility is something beautiful, resistant, defiant, craved. He caught her hand. You talk like you've met others. Varenya nodded, folding her legs beside him, posture regal even in softness. A few, not many, survive long enough to awaken the deep bond. Most are lost before we can heal them fully. But you endured. You called me. I didn't mean to, he said hoarsely, and yet you did. That's what makes this different. Her gaze softened and she leaned close, pressing her lips to his throat in a kiss that was half worship, half confession. This isn't just healing, Yalan. This is transformation. He closed his eyes. Her scent was like a memory he never had. Floral, electric, forbidden. What are you turning me into? My mate, she whispered. Not by blood, not by claim, but by resonance. A bond formed from choice, not species. It is rare. In our records, it is called sacrificed hero romancer. Healing union forged when one life saves another through intimacy, not conquest. Yalan shuddered. And what happens if I walk away? Her silence was long. Her fingers stilled on his chest. You'll live, she said finally. But I will. Dim. My people burn bright, but only once. My light, my essence it anchored. To you when I gave you life. He stared at her. You're saying, you gave up something. I gave up everything. My title, my station, even my ability to return to the embrace, the source of my people's power. When I revived you, I sealed my fate. I broke the laws of the sanctuary. For a human, his throat tightened. Why? Because when I touched your broken heart, she said, voice quivering, mine beat for the first time. Yalan sat up, the room spinning slightly. His mind raced, emotions crashing like a meteor storm. He didn't ask to be saved. He didn't ask for her. But now that she was here, now that he knew, how could he abandon her? Then teach me, he said, what this means, what we mean. Her smile trembled with relief, and she crawled forward, her thighs sliding over his lap, her glow intensifying as she straddled him. In my world, this begins with an offering. She took his hand and brought it to the hollow beneath her throat. Her skin pulsed there, delicate, hot. Beneath that pulse was a gland, swollen with radiant fluid. Alien nurse, erotica. She murmured, the term echoing from some database of his own fantasies. But here it is nourishment, life essence. My species shares it only with bonded souls. Will you take it? He nodded, barely breathing. She guided his mouth to the source. The moment his lips touched, his world fractured. The fluid was thick, sweet, alive. It invaded his senses, colors, exploded behind his eyelids. Sounds became textures. Pain became euphoria. His heartbeat matched hers, syncopated in rhythm, tangled in purpose. He didn't just drink, he merged. She gasped above him, her body trembling. "You've taken it. You've become mine, and I." She clung to him, and her climax was not physical but spiritual. Her light flared, then softened into a low-burning glow, as if her very soul had just etched itself into his skin. When she collapsed into him, her voice was weak, reverent. "You've healed me, Yolon," held her heart pounding. He was no longer just human. Not entirely. Something inside him had changed, and her presence felt written into his cells. "Varenai," he whispered. "What happens now?" She looked up at him, tears, like liquid crystal, forming at the corners of her eyes. "Now, Yolon Thorn, the galaxy will hunt us both." And he didn't know whether to feel fear or excitement. The intergalactic love story had just begun. The chamber dimmed to a deep violet hue, the air heavy with the mingling scent of alien energy and human skin. Yalan sat with Vareni wrapped around him, their breathing synchronized, their pulses no longer separate. Her glow had faded too. A gentle shimmer, but her body remained pressed close, like she was afraid letting go would sever something invisible between them. Outside the chamber, something shifted. A vibration in the walls, a hum of distant engines. They were no longer alone in this part of the galaxy. "They found us," she said quietly, tracing a glowing line down his spine with one webbed fingertip. "Who?" he asked, his body still tingling from the intimate fusion of her essence. "Your people," she nodded, her voice brittle. "The Kereth Order, healers, scientists, guardians of our purity. I disobeyed the core mandate when I revived you. Human biology, it's deemed too unstable, too volatile." He tried to rise, but his legs were weak. "Then we run. You don't understand. You're bonded. If they capture us, they won't just separate us, they'll dissect us, together." Yolan gritted his teeth, anger flaring. "They call you healers, but they'd kill to preserve order." "This is a power reversal romance," she said with a bittersweet smile, "where I gave everything to save the warrior. And now it's your turn to protect the one who healed you." He stood, wobbling on his feet but driven by adrenaline. "Then I'll fight. If they want me dead again, they'll have to finish the job this time." She reached for him, eyes pleading. "You're still healing. Even with my essence inside you, you're not ready to face their weaponry." He looked down at her. "You gave me back my life, my soul. I'm not about to lose you." She stood too, her form tall and radiant once more. Her silver skin glowed brighter, and lines of bioluminescence flared across her body like circuitry. "Then we do it together." She led him down crystalline corridors that pulsed to her steps. The ship responded to her presence, unfolding hidden paths and activating long dormant consoles. Everything here was alive biotech grown, not built. "How did you even get me aboard?" he asked as they passed a cocoon-shaped bay that smelled faintly of burned ozone. "You were floating among wreckage. Your suit was punctured. No vitals. The Order would have ignored you as debris," she said, her voice quiet. "But I sensed you through the void. A flicker of will. Humans don't give up. That's why I broke protocol. And you healed me, using your own life force. My glands regenerate slowly, but the bonding accelerated it. That's why I gave you more." Yalan stopped mid-step. "Wait, you said I took your essence, but I didn't just consume it. I felt your soul." She turned to him, stepping close. "You didn't take, you accepted. There's a difference." Her hands cupped his jaw, drawing him down into another kiss. This time, it was slower, deeper. Not medicinally. He pressed his hands to her waist, feeling the tension in her body. She was scared, and yet she trembled, not with fear but longing, when they broke apart. She whispered, "If this ends tonight, I want you to remember me in your blood." Jalen's voice was hoarse. "Not ending tonight. Not like this." Suddenly, alarms began to pulse through the ship. Foreign voices echoed down the halls in a strange blend of tones and vibrations. Korath warriors. They had boarded. VA single quotes. Rainey's glow surged. "Follow me." They reached the ship's medical core, a chamber filled with luminous pods and transparent energy fields. In the center stood a crystal cradle, pulsing with dormant energy. "This is the star drive," she explained, placing her palm against it. "It only activates through bonded resonance. You and I, we must ignite it together." He moved beside her, his hand hovering near hers. "You said the galaxy would hunt us. Let them, but we'll make them chase light itself." Their palms touched. The crystal pulsed violently, a wave of energy sweeping over them both. A hum filled the air, building into a resonant frequency that wrapped around them like a cloak. And in that moment, their bond wasn't just spiritual, it was tactical, strategic, unstoppable. The ship shuddered. Outside the chamber, explosions rang out. The Kerith were breaching the inner halls. VA Rainey looked to him with fire in her eyes. "This is no longer about rules or laws." He pulled her close. "It's HFY Sci-Fi Erotica. And they're about to learn what it means when a human fights not just for survival, but for love." The star drive erupted in blinding light. Together, they disappeared into the stars. The world returned in flashes light, weightlessness, then gravity slamming into their bones. Jalen's knees buckled as the star drive spit them out into a new system. The ship groaned, stabilizing in orbit around an unfamiliar moon bathed in lavender haze. Va Renee steadied him, her hand against his chest. "You held longer than expected. Your human form is evolving." He blinked, still dizzy from the jump. "Where are we?" "Uncharted space," she said, her tone calmer now, though her body trembled with residual energy. "No Kereth surveillance, no warpath, just silence and time. But it won't last." Yolande leaned against a nearby console, breathing heavily. "Then let's not waste it." Her eyes caught his. No words needed in the quiet hum of the command chamber. They moved toward each other like magnets drawn by something stronger than logic or duty. The kind of pull that existed only between survivors who had nothing left to lose and everything to claim. She unwrapped the biagos from his chest with gentle fingers, revealing the scar where his ribcage had been reformed by her touch. "You still carry the wound," she whispered. "I carry you," he said. "That's all I feel now." Verenia's pupils dilated, her body responding to his nearness in ways even she didn't fully understand. Her kind weren't made for desire. They were designed for healing. But Yalan wasn't like the others she'd saved. He wasn't compliant, grateful, or fearful. He reached for her. She climbed onto his lap, where he sat against the console, her thighs straddling him, chest pressed to his. The glow from her core brightened as she kissed him, hungry now, no longer reserved. It wasn't about healing anymore. It was claiming. "You've rewritten me," she gasped into his mouth. He kissed her back, harder. "Then let me leave my mark," she moaned, her control slipping as his hands roamed her curves, Lelian but warm, real. Every movement ignited pulses through her neural web, a surge of energy blooming between her legs, up her spine. When his mouth found her neck, she arched, her voice trembling. "This is forbidden," she breathed. "Then break the rules with me." She guided his hand to the soft swell beneath her navel. "My people nourish with essence, but only once do they choose to receive." Yalon froze. "Are you saying my body is ready?" she whispered. "Yours made it so." The reality hit them both in a breathless moment. This was no longer a game of survival or curiosity. It was the beginning of something deeper. The consummation of a sacrificed hero romance where the one meant to heal was now being made whole. He kissed her again, slower this time, reverent. He slid his fingers between them, finding her wet, radiant, and throbbing with anticipation. She cried out softly, hips grinding down. "I feel everything," she whispered. "Your fire, it burns into me." He guided himself into her, and time ceased. Their union wasn't gentle but desperate, wild, celestial. With each thrust, their energies coiled tighter, the star drive's core pulsing with rhythm to their cries. Her moans became high-pitched frequencies that echoed across the ship's systems, fusing organic tech with passion. Jalen had never known such hunger, such purpose. It wasn't lust alone, it was fusion. His body melted into hers, his soul engraved across her alien nervous system. Every climax was an echo across their bond, and when they collapsed into each other, slick with sweat and light, they were no longer two beings, they were singular. She gasped into his chest, trembling. "You've imprinted on me, my structure. Won't allow another now." He wrapped his arms around her. "I don't want another." Her eyes glistened. "Then stay, as more than my patient. Stay, as my mate." "Varani," he whispered, voice raw. "I was lost in fire. You pulled me back with a kiss. You gave me life. Now let me give you forever." They lay tangled, together, her head resting on his heart. The stars above spinning slowly through the viewing dome, but even in their peace, danger brewed. Far beyond the reach of the star drive, the Karath Order was watching, tracking resonance flares, tracing forbidden fusions. And they would not let this intergalactic love story reach its happy ending without a fight. Jalen kissed her temple and whispered, "If they come again, we don't run." She nodded, her hand drifting over his chest. "No, this time we make them bleed for what they tried to erase." And so the healer and her warrior prepared not just to hide, but to defend the love that rewrote to destinies. The days passed like seconds, yet every moment stretched with intensity. The bond between Varani and Yalon deepened into something beyond physical or emotional. It became existential. Their bodies synced, not just in breath or movement, but in energy, in intention. He no longer needed her touch to feel her desire. She no longer needed his words to understand his fear. The ship alive with organic tech responded to them both now. Together, they reprogrammed its structure, infusing human creativity into alien systems. Yalen carved combat strategies into defense protocols, while Varani wove sensory tech into healing zones. It wasn't just their escape pod anymore. It was their home, and yet something shifted. On the fourth rotation, the ship detected a spike in gravitational distortion. The Karath Order had pierced the veil of uncharted space. "They've traced our resonance," Varenio said, her voice laced with dread. "Our intimacy left behind more than heat." It echoed, Yalan tightened the grip on his weapon, an alien lance fused with human explosives. Something they'd engineered together in the nights after Passion. There. Not getting us without a fight, he growled. But Vareni turned to him, her glow softer than usual. They don't just want you, Yalan. They want what's growing inside me. His heart stopped. Inside you. She took his hand and guided it to her lower abdomen, where a faint shimmer pulsed beneath her skin. Your essence didn't just bind me, it fertilized me. That wasn't supposed to be possible. Yalan was silent, not out of fear but awe. We created life, he asked. Yes, she whispered, lips trembling. A hybrid never known, forbidden, sacred, a legacy of human defiance and alien compassion. He pulled her close, his heart pounding. Then we protect it. Alarms flared across the ship. They were out of time. The Kareth vessel appeared on the view screen, massive, cold, metallic. Nothing like the living beauty that Verenya had grown round herself. It was the embodiment of order, and it wanted to erase everything they were. V.A. Renee stood beside Yalan in the control chamber, her body glowing with battle-honed energy. We make our stand now. Side by side, he said. She pressed her forehead to his, bonded in blood, fire, and pleasure. He smiled grimly. HFY Sci-Fi Erotica never ends quietly. The Kareth broadcast came through devoid of emotion. Surrender the contaminated entity. Terminate the human host. Reclaim purity. Vareni stepped forward, her voice thunderous with defiance. I am not contaminated. I am transcendent. And this human is mine. Yalan fired the first shot. The ship erupted in war. Blasts rained across their hull. Shields flickered. But Vareni had built the ship to adapt. Yalan moved through corridors, fighting like a storm, fusing human unpredictability with alien precision. Together, they struck faster than the Kareth could adapt. She fought with her bare hands, her healing energy now reversed, corrosive to the touch. He fought with explosives and rage, each swing fueled by the knowledge that their child, their future, waited within her. And when the Kareth breached the core, surrounding them, weapons drawn, they stood together in the glow of the star drive, refusing to bow. One final kiss, one final choice. V.A. Renai placed his hand on the ship's neural stem. If they take us, they'll dissect the story of our love. He understood. Then let's give them a legend instead. They activated the failsafe. A burst of light surged from the heart of their vessel, pure resonance. Not a weapon, a signal. A transmission of everything they were. Their bond, their love, their rebellion. It spread like wildfire into the stars, encoded in light, impossible to erase. The Kareth fell back. Blinded, by the time they regained sight, the ship was gone. Nothing. Remained nothing but a lingering signature, and a galaxy now touched by a forbidden truth. Love is not weakness. Intimacy is not infection. And no order can contain the power of two souls who choose each other in defiance of fate. Somewhere, light years away, on a quiet moon where no scanners reached, he alone lay with Vareni beside him, her belly softly glowing. Do you still miss Earth? She asked, eyes sleepy. He kissed her shoulder. No, I found something better. She smiled. A power reversal romance. A love story, he murmured, that no one will ever forget. And in the warmth of their small world, beneath twin moons and growing life, their sacrificed hero romance burned on. The moon was quiet, wrapped in pink clouds and soft winds that smelled of minerals and new life. No satellites passed overhead. No signals screamed through the void. It was Heron, this untouched sanctuary world, that Vareni and Yorlan made a life that wasn't built for war or escape. Their bodies still bore the memories of battle, his scars, her dimmed glow, but in each other they found purpose that no directive or mission could replace. She lay against him in the early light, her belly rising with new life, radiant and alive with a shimmer that pulsed like a second heartbeat. Yalan traced his fingers over the skin, mesmerized. It didn't feel human or alien. It felt like hope. He responds to you, Varanya whispered, voice low with awe. Every time you touch me there, he flares brighter. Yalan asked, smiling. You know already. I feel him, she said, in my blood, in every breath. He's made of our fusion. Something the Kerith feared, something they could never control. He leaned down, kissing the curve of her belly. Let them keep chasing ghosts. We're going to raise something that doesn't follow their rules. She shivered beneath his lips, her body more sensitive than ever. Even now, you touch me like I'm a temple, she breathed. You are, he murmured, a sacred rebellion, there. Lovemaking now was slower, deeper, not driven by urgency, but reverence. She was fuller, softer, yet her core pulsed with energy that made his nerves spark when he entered her. It was no longer healing. It was worship. Every moan from her lips echoed through the cave chamber, and every thrust brought waves of emotion. Neither of them could contain. I'm not breaking, she gasped, wrapping her legs around his waist. Don't treat me like glass. He growled softly into her neck, teeth grazing her skin. Then let me remind you why you chose me. They moved together with rhythm forged in both war and love, their bodies slick, their souls synchronized. Her back arched, hips grinding against him, each pulse inside her building a crescendo of pleasure and power. She climaxed with a cry that lit the cave's crystals in 1,000 prismatic colors. His followed, flooding her with warmth, anchoring himself inside her once again like he did the night she begged him to stay. When their breathing slowed, she clung to him with shaking arms. I feel everything you are inside me. He held her face, kissed her gently. Then feel this too. I'm not leaving. I'm never running again. But even as they rested, the stars shifted above in the night sky. A ripple appeared faint, but unnatural. Varane sat upright, her glow tightening. Something's coming. He reached for his weapon. Kerethno. Worse, a new signature was breaking into the outer system. Something ancient, something not curse. Her hand gripped his arm. It's the core mother, Yalan frowned. The what? She's the progenitor of the Kereth order, older than their laws. She created the healer caste. She's supposed to be in hibernation deep inside their star vaults, and now she's here. Vareni nodded, voice trembling. She must have felt the child. He's not just a hybrid. He's a threat too. Everything she controls. Yalan stood, wrapping fabric around himself, eyes burning with fury. Let her come. Yalan, know she learn what every other species has learned before her. You don't touch what belongs to a human. Varani swallowed hard. This isn't war. This is judgment. Then let's face her together. Not as healer and soldier, but as parents, as lovers, as rebels who chose each other over the universe's rules. She rose beside him, her body shining brighter than he'd ever seen. HFY Sci-Fi Erotica was never meant to end quietly. No, he said, taking her hand. It ends with a scream loud enough to shatter stars. The core mother's vessel. appeared above the moon unfurling like a living black sun, tendrils of plasma slithering toward the surface. But Veronai and Yalan stood waiting in the open air, side by side, her belly glowing, his weapon ready, their love burning and deep. Within her, the child moved. The sky split open like a wound. From the heavens descended the core mother, neither ship nor being, but something between. Her form pulsed with dark energy, her voice a choir of forgotten stars. Tendrils of living light pierced the clouds and curled toward the moon's surface like judgment incarnate. Yolan stood barefoot in the lavender sand, gripping the plasma-forged blade he'd modified with Varenia's tech. Beside him, she radiated in silver brilliance, her form no longer fragile, no longer just a healer. She was something new. Inside her womb, the child stirred against, sensing the tension in the air, the way energy warped reality itself. The core mother's voice rumbled through their bones. You have defied the sanctum of purity. You have merged corrupted strands. You will cease. Varenia stepped forward. Her voice, though soft, shattered the stillness. You built a race of caregivers, but you denied us the right to feel, to choose. I broke no law. I reclaimed my nature. The core mother's massive Arger galaxy of flickering veins opened above them. That fetus must be extinguished. It is unstable. It does not belong. Jalen's rage erupted. He belongs to us, and we will die before we let you take him. The sky darkened. A beam of crimson light cracked from above. Varenia raised both hands, catching it mid-air. Her palms sizzled, energy whipping around her wrists, but she held. The beam bent, redirected. Your power fed mine once, she snarled, but now it fuels us both. Yalan leaped beside her, launching his modified blade. It spun through the air, slicing through one of the descending tendrils, which shrieked like metal tearing through bone. The core mother retracted it, recoiling. You would trade eternity for intimacy. He laughed, chest heaving. You call it a weakness. I call it salvation. The ground beneath them cracked, not from destruction, but rebirth, crystalline. Vines shot upward around them, responding to the child within Varenia. The living ship beneath the moons crossed. The one Varenia had seeded weeks ago was awakening. It had gestated long enough. You feel that? She gasped, gripping. His arm, he's connecting to the planet, to everything. Yalan looked at her belly. He's defending us. She nodded, eyes wide. It's what he was born to do. The air around them shimmered, and then a pulse rippled from her core, a sonic bloom of power, not a weapon, a song. Her body sang with frequency and light, and the child amplified it. The planet joined in, resonating in harmonic convergence. The core mother screamed a psychic blast of rage that shattered stones, but could not shatter them. Jalen pulled Varanai to him, holding her against his chest, whispering now, together. Their lips met in one final, desperate kiss, not of lust, but of fusion. Her glow entered him. His fire entered her. Their child surged with it. The shockwave detonated from the core of Varanai's Wumpure. Golden light, not an explosion, but evolution. It hit the core mother full force. She screamed. Her vessel recoiled. A mass began, disintegrating, pixelating into static, memory, dust, and then silence. The moon settled. The sky cleared. The core mother was gone. Va Rani collapsed into Jalen's arms, panting, tears glistening on her cheeks. Her skin flickered, then steadied strong again. Renewed, he saved us. Yalon knelt beside her, pressing his forehead to hers. He saved everything. She smiled, brushing her fingers along his jaw. We created a being no one could understand, not even us. Then let's learn together, he whispered. And so, time passed. Their child was born beneath the light of twin moons, small, radiant, with skin that shimmered like his mother's but eyes like his father's, defiant, curious, human. They named him Kale, and from their hidden sanctuary, Kale would grow not just into a child of two worlds, but into a new world, a symbol, a myth, a truth that love, true, chosen, intimate, could defy galaxies, that a healer could fall for her broken patient, that a warrior could be reborn in her arms, and that a single kiss between stars could birth a revolution. This was more than a love story. It was a HFY Sci-Fi Erotica, a human-alien romance, an intergalactic love story. And it ended exactly how it began, with one taste of her kiss, healing his soul and her whisper, "You're mine now, forever."